are engaged to be married and have been in a lovely relationship for 2.5 years. Fernanda moved in with me in March last year. My house is also home to my son Dylan, my dog Daisy, and my rescue cat Michael. Fernanda has a rescue dog, Rue, who I've banned from living with us because she chases Michael. Michael gets on really well with my dog. He's not a fierce cat and always runs away when something upsets him. Last year, Fernanda had a night out with friends and brought Rue around so I could look after her. It was a complete disaster. Rue wouldn't settle down. At night, her barking disturbed my sleep, so I put her and Daisy, my dog, in the lounge. Then Fernanda stumbled in drunk at 2 a.m.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
Went to bed, slept through the barking, and the next morning there was uproar when Rue spotted Michael chasing around the kitchen. It was awful. There was so much barking and scuffling. Michael ran away to my neighbour's house and didn't return for 3 whole days. Rue now lives at Fernanda's ex's house, 20 minutes away. And Fernanda visits him often, so it's not like Rue doesn't have a home. After that, I said Rue couldn't live with us. My heart hurts for Fernanda, but Michael is my baby, and this is his home. If we have Rue here, Michael will get stressed out and run away, and that would break my heart. Fernanda wants to get an expert in to help Rue and Michael coexist, but that sounds like a palaver. You have to crate them and get them used to each other by slowly moving the cages closer together. I think it would be horrible. Michael's never been in a cage, and Rue wasn't crated when she was little. I accept that Fernanda has had to sacrifice more for our relationship, but it's because I own my own home and I have a son, and so the only option was for her to move in with me. I do love Rue, as she's a lovely dog, and my heart hurts for Fernanda. But I've had Michael since he was a kitten, and I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable in his own home.
Oh, dear me. What a palaver and what a situation. Well, you know what? Fernanda said she gets some expertise, and I'm doing that by asking you as an agony aunt and an agony uncle what you think about it. 0800 111 49 49. What do you reckon Vivian should do? A partner, Fernanda, moved in with her, but her cat, Michael, is scared of Vivian's dog. But Fernanda's dog, I thought it was. But is it fair that the dog is banned from living with them? Get in touch, give us a call, 0800 111 49 49, or text us on 81333. I had a few comments already on Facebook. Michael says, not a good one for me, as my neighbour has asked if I can get my cat to stop bullying their dogs. We've got another message here for Ram. Who's this? Charles says it's claws versus noses. After the nose gets a clawing, the respect comes back. And Lady Peniston says, morning, lovely lady. Well, I'm a cat person, love my cat dearly for 23 years. I also like dogs. This boils down to how much she loves Fernanda. If she can't imagine life without him and doesn't want him to be without his dog full time, she'll try anything. But if she doesn't want to disrupt her cat and dog's lives, it's bye-bye Fernanda. Whoa. If that's too harsh, things have to remain the same, and Fernanda sees his dog part-time. That's what Lady Peniston says. Right. We have not got the dog father because I think I've got someone who knows better about these things. We've got an honorary agony aunt today, animal behaviourist Lisa Sinnott. Lisa, good afternoon. How are you after listening to all of that? Fur flying, noses being scratched. It's a lot, isn't it, really?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, it is stressful, it is something that is a big thing for couples. If one has a cat, one has a dog. And when Michael is being chased, that can actually be really distressing and upsetting for everyone, even if Rue's motivation and emotion is just to play. And I think that's the important thing to think about. What is the emotion here? Does he want to play, or is he's scared of Michael himself? Is he, chasing after him because he wants to repel him and get him to move away?
I've seen Instagram. I spend a lot of my time, too much of my time, Lisa, on Instagram. And there are lovely little clips of dogs and cats growing up together and nestling down. And I saw a picture from producer Scarlett, who's got a puppy that they've 3 cats in that house and the dogs seem to be getting on fine. How do we get from A to B then, do you think?
Ideally, doing everything in stages from the start. So Vivian was talking about having both animals in 2 crates and getting them close together. Now that's a real misconception, that we need to push the relationship together in the same way as, you know, building a relationship with someone, I don't know, who maybe has had a bad relationship with someone else. You don't want to push things too soon. You don't want to be talking about, you know, marriage on the first day over a cocktail. You know, so doing everything in stages. So scent swapping if you can. So cats obviously navigate the world through their sense of smell. That's really important to them. So getting a clean cloth, wiping it over your cat very gently. And then the person who's got the dog, whether that's a rescue centre or a breeder, them doing the same thing with the dog. And then popping these different cloths in maybe a zippable sandwich bag, posting them to each other's address, and then leaving them out for the cat and dog to smell. So we're not even seeing each other at this stage, you know, they're just smelling each other. See what the cat's reaction is, see what the dog's reaction is. Do it all in stages and then build up to wiping the cloth on them if they're comfortable. Also, even thinking about, you know, if your cat's an outdoor cat, going to the garden with this dog on the lead and allowing your cat to watch them, see what their reaction is. If they're running back inside, you know, maybe it's not a good match. If they're, you know, their hackles are not hackles raised, but their fur's raised like a Halloween cat, again, a sign that they're scared. And the same for dogs. So doing everything in stages. Then cats, completely separate room, all their resources spaced out. Don't want litter trays next to water. No one likes peeing and pooing where they eat, all separate. Lots of high shelves, all their resources, maybe even a cat flap so they can just get into that room, because bear in mind, if you've got a small puppy, they can get in through cat flaps, so microchip activated cat flaps. And then baby gates, so to prevent the chasing. We don't want a dog chasing a cat, because neurochemically a dog will get a lot of reinforcement from chasing a cat, and it's fun to them, but for the cat it's not fun.
Hell, that would be horrible. Charles has got in touch. He says claws versus noses. After the nose gets a clawing, the respect comes back. What do you think to that?
Well, it's not about respect, you know. It's really dangerous to do that. Like, I've known cats to, you know, scratch dogs' eyes, you know, and dogs to bite cats' tails. And, you know, you want the relationship to be a good relationship. You don't want it to be built on, you know, fear and mistrust. And that's what can sometimes happen if cats and dogs are just allowed to get on with it and put into situations they can't cope with. Cats are prey and predator species, so they feel safe up high. You know, they'll only use really offensive behaviour if they can't escape. And, you know, you don't want claws in you know, soft.
You don't want to have to go to the vet to solve this problem, not at all. I'm talking to agony aunt, honorary agony aunt, Lisa Sinnott. She's an animal behaviourist, and we're trying to get to the bottom of trying to work out this situation where someone has a cat, someone has a dog, and they won't get together. They're not happy together at all. But Michael the cat seems to get on with Daisy, the dog that Vivian already has. Doesn't get on with the dog Roo. What is that? Just because that situation has been allowed to come together. And we must remember as well that dogs and cats, you know, you can have 12 dogs and they can all have different personalities. You can have 15 cats and they've all got different personalities. So this particular cat may not get on with this particular dog. Yeah,
absolutely. It goes back to what Roo's motivation is. You know, if he's chasing Michael because it's fun, then there's training that can be done to help prevent that. Things like go on his mat, chasing something else, not allowing the rehearsal of the behaviour. But the more he does it, the more Michael's just going to get upset and stressed. And cats, they can suffer with urinary tract infections when they're stressed, and it's not always obvious when they're poorly because they hide pain really well. So it depends why Rue's doing it.
Right. Our cat, in fact, my neighbour has a friend who has two, I think they're pugs. One called Buddy, who can't stand me, we don't know why, and Pearl, who just is a baby, younger than him, but kicks off when he kicks off. Basically, it's that. And they left him walking around the garden. It's a shared yard. Pearl dived into the house. My cat was in front, and the dog was in my house chasing the cat. And I was really nervous about my cat under those circumstances because it's not our dog. And she's not familiar with that dog. I mean, we had a husky living next door at one point, and she was fine with the husky because she'd known her from being a puppy. But that was different, and she did get a urinary tract infection after that.
Oh, bless her. Yeah. That's why I don't like these kind of self-cleaning litter trays, because you can't spot signs that your cat might be, peeing small amounts or having a bit of blood in their urine. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, bless her.
What should we do then in this situation to wrap things up? Do we have to accept that this is not a match made in heaven? It's not going to work?
I think, Rue's got a lovely home, which is great. That is the backup. If you wanted to work with a behaviourist, I recommend working with a behaviourist from the APBC or FAB clinicians, because they've got all accredited qualified behaviourists on there. But working with someone to figure out why the dog's doing it, like I said, if Rue's doing it because he's scared of Michael and he's saying kind of go away, and he's chasing because he's trying to get him to move away, that would be approached very differently to something that was an excitement-based reaction.
Right.
So, you wouldn't just, if a dog's scared of a cat, you wouldn't just train him to, sit on a mat. That's not going to work. It's a bit like, someone sitting on their hands when they're told to be quiet. And absolutely. And the frustration can build, and then that was where rage can happen and anger. So it wouldn't just be a simple, teach him to go on his mat, teach him to sit, which I think a lot of people would suggest. You want to change the emotion around the cat as well, which would be counter conditioning, desensitization.
Right, a lot going on there then. It'll cost a fortune as well. Not that should stop you doing it, but it does sound like it's a lot more complicated than this A, B, C, D, and they may never get on. You might have to accept that as part of the process as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, there is support out there. The Dogs Trust behaviour support line. Sometimes you can claim back on insurance. So there are options out there if you're on a lower income.
Lovely to talk to you, Lisa. Thank you so much for being our honorary agony aunt in this situation. You've given us some really interesting advice. Animal behaviourist Lisa Sinnott trying to get to the bottom of today's dilemma. Cat and dog don't get on. How do we deal with it? We're a couple. We're engaged. We might get married at some point. We will get married because we're engaged. What do we do? What do you think? 0800 111 49 49. I was edging my bets there, but...